Hey guys, so I just wanted to show you guys how to use the Sun collection, which I've created for Lightroom specifically. Honestly, I've made these over the years because I can't stand when you're in the middle of a workflow and you have to hop between Lightroom and over to Photoshop. I know that some things are limited and you absolutely have to hop platforms from time to time. But I mean, like, honestly, when you're working on a ton of stuff all at the same time and you're trying to keep things consistent, it's such a pain, right? So I've created these for quite literally one-click use. I'm going to start with a vertical just so I can show you how it works. One thing I want to start out by telling you actually is I've made all of these in specific orientations, right? So the reason for that is you open your picture, you decide, oh, I need a little light over here or over there. You can actually just look at the orientation and click. But here's the thing. So Lightroom has a glitch in it and they haven't yet corrected it. I don't know why, all the updates and they still haven't done it. So the glitch is in the preview panel. What you'll see here is if I go vertical top right flare, obviously it's not in the top right, it shows it the top left. Okay, so I want you to know, one, that's nothing wrong with the preset. Two, there's nothing wrong with your photo orientation or Lightroom. If you actually click on it instead of just hovering over the preview, then it's going to go up to the right spot. Okay, and one thing that I love about how I've made these is you don't need to reset it, because what you want to do is actually apply these after your basic color edit. Okay, so this has already been color corrected. I've done everything I want to in this picture, and now I'm going to come in afterwards and put my Sunflares and Sunleaks on top, right? So that way, if you're like, oh, I don't want it up there, I actually want it over here, I think. You don't want to hit reset because that's going to reset your whole image. So one thing you can do, you can either go to your history if you needed to back it right up. But what I've done is I've made it so you don't need to do that. You can actually just go like this and click somewhere else, and it's going to move that for you and take it away from the original spot, all right? So another thing is if I go top middle, top right, and it's up there, and you're like, that's really pretty, but you know what? The light should be coming from this side. So you can go up here and be like top left larger, and I like that, but it's not coming into the picture quite the way I want it to because the top's blown out. So that's what I want to show you. You can actually edit and move these around. So yes, they're one click, but sometimes you want to play with it or you want to add to it a little bit. So what you can actually do is come up here and grab the radial filter. All right, I always have it select mask overlay on, and the reason for that is because some of them are so transparent that you might not take notice to what it's covering up unless you have that selected. Because if you take it off, you see, put it on, at least you can see that. Because on the off chance that you have a picture where the flare actually comes into someone's face and you want to get rid of it, you want to make sure you can see that. So I click on that when I'm moving things around. So don't touch anything in here. What you want to do is just grab and drag. So this one I think would look nicer if it's down here. And then this one maybe down here, and you can just keep moving these around until you find the perfect placement. So like natural bokehs, they usually go one size to the next down. Sometimes they sparkle off, but sometimes they come in like straight down and get smaller and smaller or bigger and bigger, right? So here's the other thing I want to show you. If you were like, I love this one, but it's way too much, it's way too big, you can actually click on it and then hold down your shift key and you can drag that smaller, let go of the shift key, or bigger, let go of the shift key, okay? So that's it, and hit done, and then you're like, oh, there it is, right? So before and after. So this image I edited using the lavender collection, which I'll also drop that link in the description in the video as well if you want to see it. So now I'm just going to pop over to a horizontal image to show you. That one's beautiful, but I'm not sure I want to share the full nursing photos. Okay, so horizontal. Again, like you can see the sun is actually coming in from this side and behind her. So it might look really silly if you put it over here because it's not so realistic. So you want to look for something on the right side. This is nice, it kind of blows it up, but it's not overly dramatic or unrealistic, right? And you can rotate. This one's nice as well because it illuminates all in here. So same thing, if you like it, but this falls kind of strangely on someone's face, you can actually change that. Oh my goodness, you can tell I have kids because their little notification just popped up there. Okay, so if you click up here, same thing, you can move this. And you'll notice in the preview panel what it's doing. Or, again, if you want to, click that off, and then you can see the actual effect in real time to know where you want to get it. Maybe you want to bring it back down here because this is already so bright and you want to kind of fade it in. Okay, some of these leaks actually include not just the radial filter, but they include the graduated filter. So as you notice here, lightened right up, but you didn't see any of those spots get selected. If that's the case, you can actually just click over here, and if there's a graduated filter, you're going to see it. See the gray spot? So what I like about this as well, same thing, you can drag it up, you can drag it down a little bit. Okay, so you can actually turn it a little too, which allows you to have the power to make it more natural or suit your image easier, okay? Now, if you're finished with all this and you had like a sequence of 3 or 4 pictures in a row that are the exact same, maybe just a little bit of a different expression, and you don't want to go through the step of changing all this all over again, all you're going to do, because you've already done your color edit, is you're going to go copy, but this time you're going to make sure you select local adjustments, uncheck the brush, because if you made any like blemish touch-ups or anything like that prior, you don't want that to carry over into the next image because who knows where it's going to show up on your picture, right? So you just want to check the local adjustments and check graduated and radial and copy. And what that's going to do is copy all this into the next photo. So if I just go over, I'm just going to do this one and go paste, and then bam, it brings it up here, right? Which is actually a little bit different from how it started out when we started before. The placement's different. It's going to be what you just made it. So same thing, it might not suit it. Maybe it's a little bit of a different angle or orientation, but again, like I said, you only really want to use that feature of the copy and paste of all those settings if the images are next to the same, right? So I'm just trying to see if I've got one that's like shot by shot almost. Not quite, but a little bit, right? So like this one to that one. You want to have the sun coming in from the same side, so I'm going to copy, which I've already done, but I'm just doing it for the sake of the video. Come over here, and then I'm going to go paste, and it's going to bring the sun in from the same angle as the other image, which is a lot more natural and consistent looking than if you just randomly went around and placed suns in every which direction that you wanted to for a whole session, if you're working on a one workflow anyway. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you for today. That was the Sun Leak collection, and I also have the Bokeh collection as well, and that's going to be the same rules, the same thing applies. It's just a Bokeh driven only collection. It's not really a Sun Leak with the lines coming in and the graduated filters. It's more to add the little bokehs off existing sunlight. So sometimes you already have natural sun, and it's really nice to bring those little bokehs down into the picture because that is beautiful when you catch it in real time, right? I shoot for that all the time. I'm always working with the sun. But let's be honest, we have people, we have clients, we have life, we have weather. Everything's so unpredictable. You cannot always shoot in the perfect light or just the way you want or have the sun where you want it. It's just not always going to happen. So to be consistent in my style and how I like to shoot, this is kind of what drove me to create these over time and make something that was super usable and, consistent, right? So you can use it over and over again without it being a pain in the butt. Okay, so I probably went on way too long. Probably could have done that in 2 minutes, but it's my first video up here. So I hope you stuck with me. And if you did, please click and subscribe and check out my listings. I'm always here to answer questions. I work for myself full time. Also have children, dogs, chickens, cats, you name it, kind of like a farm here. So I do my best to get back to you right away. If you want to leave a comment or